It's Rolando with RC Tech Pro Flying. Well, we're taking our second video. It's going to be a mild range test on the new DJI Mini 3 Pro. So we're going to go ahead and go into this video and I kind of walk you through of what is going on here. So we're going to go ahead and take it out in an open field where there is no houses to interfere or any people. So we're going to go ahead and take it out for a little cruise and see how the DJI handles as far as interference. Out in this area here really isn't too much to deal with on Wi-Fi interference with it, but my main concern is how well does it do on ranges. There has been people with different opinions having problems with the range, showing that the signal keeps dropping out even on 600 meters or even closer than that, them dropping out. Now, of course, it depends on the area that you're at. So if you have a lot of populated houses, you're going to find, or even cell towers near you, you're going to have problems with RF. So we're just going to take a cruise out on this, and we're going to go ahead and see how it does. This is the first test for range and see how it is, and mainly being safe. Obviously, I have it about 237 feet as far as altitude, and I have all my measurements in feet, so you can actually see it on my screen down at the bottom corner. You can actually see what the drone is seeing, and I also displayed the video. I have my settings on Pro settings. I don't have it on auto, so you can see the. I have my white balance set at 56 K, and then I have my ISO 100. Then I have my settings on my camera. You can see those all set on the screen there. Where I have it. I don't have any ND filter on this. This is just pure lens off of the drone. And I think it does pretty good. So if you look at the colors on the grass, it kind of lines up. The greens are truly green like they're supposed to be. And here's just a little pond here for the cattle that's in that field that I'm flying over. So I kind of changed it. I cut it out because I took a couple of pictures of it. So I just wanted to kind of shorten the video out. And we're going to be heading now a little bit further. I kind of go across this part of the field, and then I'll go ahead and I'll go to the left. And then we're going to go down to another area. I didn't really want to fly over the trees. I did take that little route there, which is a small side road. So I took it down that for a little bit. I was going to go straight across, but I decided not to do that. And I kind of just went a little bit, and then I kind of just cut across the trees. And you'll see that as I start flying over. So right now we're just over a mile right now, and you can look at the top, the RF signal on the top right corner. You can see it's still strong. It hasn't dropped out, so that's pretty awesome. And then I'm going to turn across, and decided to go ahead and go across the wooded area and then go down a field where there's no heavy trees just in case something happens. And I still maintain at the height at 237 feet. I did not go into sport mode. I just left it at your normal mode. As you notice on the top, left top, it says N mode. And it seems like a pretty nice cruise. You can see the colors are just pretty much right there with that camera on the drone. I'm still going across that road, and then I'll go ahead and make a turn to the right. And we're going to go ahead and go down and go for our range and see how that goes with it. And if you monitor the top right corner, look at the RF signal. That's where you see the bars are just completely solid. I'm over a mile right now, and no dropout. And of course, obviously, when there is problems with the video transmission and the RF transmission, you're going to notice the bars turn like a orange color, warning you that the signals are starting to drop out. You're starting to lose connections. So now I'm going to go ahead and take it for the long haul here. And you noticed that it's still doing good, and I'm still over a mile right now. And I've got it at, it is going on the speed. Apparently, it's probably a well set speed to maintain battery. If you notice, I do have the Fly More pack with the Fly More time battery on it, so I can get a little bit more range, because I don't know how it's going to do with the regular battery at the setup for the 249 grams. So it's hitting about 23.5 miles an hour, and I'm still exceeding right now. It's at 7,200 feet right now, and still maintaining the height of 237. I didn't have to go any higher. As you notice, the bars on the signal is still full. It has not changed. And I'm just going to keep taking it, cruising along. And I did leave the hologram on the screen so I can kind of watch on the pro settings for the cameras settings on there. I think I didn't overexposed. The colors are still kind of brilliant. Now the sun is off. I think on that time of the day, I think the sun was kind of in the southwest direction. So I'm right now facing the sun right now, and it's still holding up. The camera does very well and adjusts as you fly. It kind of adjusts. Now, of course, obviously, I think there's a point here where I'm going to go ahead and elevate the camera on a vertical up. I think I do this somewhere. There we go. Okay, so I do, and you can tell right here. I just wanted to see how well it's doing based on my range. And so far, we are over 10,000 feet. We're going to be approaching 2 miles. And you notice that I can just keep going. The signal is still full bars, and I can just keep going with the drone. So I'm really pleased with the signal on there. I guess they did the last update. I guess some of the people may be having problems with it. So we are going to approach 11,000 feet. I was just making a turn. I didn't want to go any further. I could have just kept going. And you're going to notice the bars drop. See, there we go right there. It's because of the positions of the antenna in the drone itself. So as I start turning, you see the signal. Now, on the bottom low left, generally you could have the scope where you can actually see if your transmitter is pointed directly to the drone. At this point, believe it or not, I was literally squatted on the ground in front of my yard and didn't have to stand up or nothing. It was just amazing how the signal is so well. Now, obviously, you're going to notice there is no houses around there as I start flying back. And the signal just stays strong there. You notice as you turn, it turns a little bit, you start losing a little bit, but still, you notice on the signal itself, even when it turns orange, doesn't mean that you're completely losing connection. It's just breaking up in between there. Or there could be interference in the process of your flight. So we're going to keep going, and we're coming back. And it's going back at, from what I see, it's still 23 miles an hour. It seems to hold it. One of the things I did discover on that were some of the people doing tests on their drone that they put it in sport mode. In sport mode, if you hit the stick full, you will get a message saying about overheating. Now, I did notice some of the forums on DJI site about that problem, and I came across it one time as well. And what they were saying was that it's basically that it's just a warning to make sure that you back off a little bit on the stick. because it may overheat, and so that you don't keep yourself full because you're pushing the drone at its maximum. There is no internal fan in the Mini 3 Pro. No internal fan, so this way they can maintain that 249 grams. It depends on the air when it's traveling. As it's flying, that's where it's getting its air through the front, just above the camera. Here I did switch over to the GPS. I didn't expand it. I could have, just so I switched back. I wanted to see how it was working. So you notice the red line showing that's the direction back to its home location. Still flying at that 23. That was a pretty good day when I was flying it back. It was nice and calm, no wind. And obviously if you're flying the drone in a very windy day, you're not going to get the range time. So on there, as far as I had plenty of battery, and you'll notice that the drone itself calculates range by utilizing the speed that it's set to in the 22, 23 miles an hour. And then it kind of utilizes it to conserve. Now, if you put it on sport mode, you're definitely going to eat up the battery. There we go. We got a good signal. You notice that the hilogram on the screen kind of went down a little bit, so it's not overexposed. Still, even without an ND filter, I think it did pretty good. With the larger aperture on that particular drone, that camera, it will allow a lot of light. So when you use an ND filter, you will get motion blur. Now I have purchased two different, actually came in a package, 165 ND filter and then a 265. I think it's a 265. I've tried them both, and this way you can do your settings and lower it down, but you will get motion blur. If you're going to do hyperlapse, I recommend a ND 1000 or an ND 2000, which works out really well. You will get a lot of motion blur. Here is an open field where they're digging. They have tractors. If you notice, I just hit it 2 times its size. I think it does pretty good without distorting the picture, and the pixels look pretty good. So I kind of look, and you'll see some of the workers there in their tractor there kind of digging holes and moving dirt around. So I put it back. I wanted to see how that was. You can see the distance, not too bad. I wish you could do maybe 3 times the zoom. It would be kind of nice. Okay, here it goes, and we're getting very close, and we still got good timing. So we did a little over 2 miles, and I could have just kept going. So we're just coming up to our ending of our flight, coming back, and look at that, a straight horizon in the background. The colors look really good from that distance there. As I said before, the greens are exactly the way you see it with our own eyes. I think it does a really good job in composing. Now on this video, I did not do any altered on post or anything. I left it as it is when it came out of the camera. So this is what you're seeing is what you get from the camera itself. Coming up to the end of our flight, and kind of pause it there a little bit, turn the camera down. I think it does really, really well. I like the small size, the weight of it. And one of the things I was mentioning on introducing the drone itself, that it's kind of like plasticky and kind of a little flimsy, but I understand if it's a light drone and it falls and it crashes, it won't be so bad. But if you have a heavier drone, it probably will take a beating. It won't take a beating, so you'll probably have more damage. But with this little drone, if it crashes, if it's not too high or hitting concrete or something, I think it can survive that. Anyways, that's our end of our video. I hope you have a wonderful day. This is Rolando with RC Tech Pro Flying. God bless.